Welcome to Uplifting Studios TV, formerly True Life Stories. We've taken on a new name and we've also incorporated some new amazing offerings that will fill you up like never before. So if you're new here or are returning for this brand new season, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment. I first heard about my next guest when I was in a jam-packed arena a few rows from the front when Oprah Winfrey mentioned her name and the work that she was doing with girls in the community at the time. I remember hearing the words standing strong and wondering how I could meet her and share her story. It wasn't until I bought a book about inspirational women in Western Australia that I got to learn more about Kim Marie Smith. Today, I'm delighted to bring you Kim's story.
It was the year I was 15, turning 16, and it was like life had just become too much. It was, I had a lot of loneliness going on. I grew up with my mum and my sister, and my mum was a full-time working mum, and mum worked away a bit at that stage as well. And so my sister and I were at home, and my sister went to another school. And so it pretty much every afternoon after school I was on my own, and we didn't have a lot of close family near us, so we didn't have any of our immediate family in the same town or anything. And so there was a lot of loneliness, a lot of time on my own, and I was a very sensitive child. I had gone through a lot of things previously, and by this time it was a moment of just going, what is this? You know, if this is what life is like, I don't want to be a part of it. One afternoon when this was all happening, I had come home from school sick and was in my bedroom just lying down like I was always doing, just on my own, being sad. And my mum had put her head in and said she was just going to take the dog for a walk to the beach, and I said, yeah, no problem. And by the time she returned, so about an hour later, I was having trouble breathing, and mum took me into the hospital, into emergency. And then it just went crazy because the car ride into the hospital, it was getting worse and worse as well, and I couldn't breathe. And they rushed me in, were pumping, everything into me, and I ended up being in intensive care and acute care, and then I ended up being in the children's ward for a week. And I'll never forget lying there in that bed with my mum and the doctor standing by the bed, and the doctor saying, has she been stressed, and kind of talking about me while I was lying there, not asking me questions or anything. And I just remembered lying there going, you have no idea. You have no idea. And I can remember from 4 or 5 years old, I was big for my age. And from 5 till about 13, I was always the biggest. And then I pretty much stopped. I did my growing, and then I didn't really grow any taller by the time I was 13, 14. But during that time, I was bullied, was teased, was, the fat girl, the fat kid, the ugly kid. I remember one time we were doing sport at school, and we were in a team of 3, and it was throwing the ball just around and around and one of the boys, every time he threw it to me, you're fat, and I had to catch it, throw it to the next person, you're fat, next person, you're fat, next person. And he just, every time it came, that was his thing. He would throw the ball, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat, you're fat. And it sounds like such a simple thing now that, I'm an adult and I can cope with these sorts of things. But when you do that to a child, the effects that it can have on them are just... We had a motivational speaker. He was very quirky. He did like medieval swords and all sorts of stuff. He was, quite an interesting character, and he did this presentation or this talk at the school, and it wasn't specifically on motivation, but he was so extravagant, and I hadn't seen anything like that before. And his message of embracing who you are and finding joy in your own life, and motivation for life, and just this really empowering motivational talk or presentation, empowering others and supporting other people. And the messages he had in his talk were in line with what I was starting to feel, which was the mind-body connection and making changes in your own life and being accountable for your life. And graduated high school and everything turned around for me. I ended up graduating amazing marks. In 3 of my subjects, I got in the 91 to 100% in the state percentile bracket. You know, completely changed, going from not even going to school, saying I'd rather fail subjects than talk, to completely flipping it and graduating with amazing marks and feeling really good. And after I finished school, I went on a little bit of a backpacking tour around Australia, and I went up to Cairns and I was working in a retail store, and this little girl came in, and she would have been about 12 years old. And at this stage, I was feeling good. Life was great. I was having an adventure. And this little girl came into the store, and I was folding jeans, and she kept just following me around the table as I was folding. She just kind of was shuffling, and she kept looking at me and shuffling around and looking at me. And I was like, this is really odd. I don't know. I just kept smiling at her and saying hi, and she was just kind of hanging around. And then what I can only assume is her little brother ran in, said, "What are you doing? You're too fat to fit anything in this store," and ran out. And she just dropped the jeans that she was playing with, looked up at me, and she just ran out of the store. And it just hit me so bad, and I just felt myself in her. And that was the first time in a few years that I'd felt that kind of emotion again, because I hadn't been in that space. And to see her little eyes looking up at me, and that was when I just went, wow, other people are going through what I went through. And that was another huge trigger for me to go, I want to help. I want to do something to help someone else who has gone through what I went through. That was when I had the first vision of a club or a space where children could go to move their bodies, to talk about what's going on in their life, and to learn skills to get through the challenges they're facing. And that was the idea in 2000, 20 years ago. The idea for Standing Strong started. So I quit my corporate job and put all my life savings into starting Standing Strong. I spent 6 months developing the business plan, getting the website happening, developing the programs, and then launched the very first Standing Strong program in 2014.
Standing Strong primarily runs holistic wellness programs for children and teenagers. So we run them for 5 to 7-year-olds all the way up to 13 to 17-year-olds. And the holistic component, it has 3 components to it. So it's basically body, mind and heart. And that's what we do. That's the foundation of what we do. And we also now actually have a program licensing, so we help other people to start running their own programs as well. So to me, Standing Strong is family. So it's Kim, Chris and their family have become my family, but more than that as well, it's the staff, it's all the people that work with us and our participants. We create a sense of tribe, of connection, of family, of acceptance and belonging, and that's what it is for me. It's definitely more than a job. I count my lucky stars that it is my job, but I'd be doing it anyway. It's just amazing.
I like Standing Strong because it's my happy place. My confidence has gone from 10 to 100, and I can make friends easier and can handle bullying at school. It's like a little family, and they just love it here.
Oprah was a huge inspiration to me, and I would, on school holidays when everyone was out doing their thing and hanging out, I'd be there waiting for the Oprah show to start, and I was she had such inspirational guests on her show, and those were the episodes that I was waiting for, was to hear stories of people that had overcome adversities and challenges in their lives and created amazing things with their lives. And so she was a huge inspiration to me earlier in life. And then when I was starting Standing Strong and building it, I was watching her videos online every day. Like every morning there was one I would watch every morning, and it just it was about creating what you want in your life and believing in yourself. And then we found out in that first year at the first club, we found out Oprah was coming to Perth. So we did a video for her, and the video was just showing her what we do at Standing Strong and saying thank you for being such an amazing inspiration. And the video got in her hands, and she ended up giving us all of our members and our parents tickets to go to her show. And they called us just before when we were getting ready to go and said, if you can get down here early, Oprah wants to meet with you and take some photos and meet the girls. And so we all ran down there and with our Standing Strong with Oprah shirts on, 100 of us. It's hilarious. And we ran down there and went in and met with her behind stage. And the biggest personal takeaway for me was that anything is possible. Anything in life is possible. If you believe in yourself and you take action and you know what you want, and it's in a space of such goodwill and service, and it's such a heart-centered space, anything is possible. Over the next 7 years, I started working on how we could expand and how we could grow to reach more people. And this took years to develop because there was no other program out there like it. There was no kind of blueprint to go off or example to go off. It really was a matter of me doing my own research and learning and trial and error to get to where we are now. And over the years, we developed the program licensing model that we have today, which is a model that allows other organisations or other health and wellness professionals to be able to license our programs and deliver them in their own communities.
The future for Standing Strong is big and it's international. The dream of mine, and I'm very sure Kim shares the same, is that we can have clubs in many different locations, many different countries, internationally, being able to get access to our programs for as many young people and families as possible. So that's the driver of everything.
My message of hope has changed since starting Standing Strong. When I first started, it was for children. It was for girls to start with. And now it has expanded to be for girls, for boys, and for parents. And the parent side has come very much since becoming a parent myself and seeing the other side of things and what parents go through, and learning from our parents of our program and getting to know them and to see their side of things. And so now my hope and my vision and I guess my service, what I want for the world and what I want the impact of Standing Strong to be, is to, one, give children a space to share who they are and to feel themselves, because that's what's lacking, is a space for children to actually build that connection with themselves. They have so much information coming into them, at them, and I want to create those spaces where they can actually stop and find who they are within this crazy world. For parents, my vision or my goal and my hope is that parents understand the importance of preventative health and wellbeing services and programs for their children, and to not wait until crisis happens or not wait until really challenging things are happening, that we need to be teaching our children life skills, interpersonal skills, emotional resilience. We educate people about the importance of getting your children into programs and creating a support network around them early, so that when they get to high school, when they get to those teen years, they have those foundations there that they can fall back on when things do get tough. So I just want a culture shift in what we're doing, that emotions don't need to be extreme in terms of how we feel about them. emotional challenges we go through, that they're a part of everyday life. Everyone has good days and bad days. Everyone has ups and downs, and it needs to become a part of everyday life to support children and families through the challenges they're going through without them feeling that there's stigma or a negative association with that. My name is Kim Marie Smith, and this is Uplifting Studios.
So, if you'd like to find out more about the community that Kim has created, standing strong, head to upliftingstudios.com.au. Thank you so much for your company. Until next time, I'm Annie Gishuru, and you've been watching Uplifting Studios TV.